It's not political art, and I'm not political artist, but it's political. It's political. I think my work talk a lot about the relationship between human being and the society, and more specifically to the masculinity. For myself, what I can say, when you are your parents from immigration and you came to France, you have to rebuild yourself. I mean, you have to think about to be a male, and what kind of image you have to have for you construct yourself. But for me, it's a reproduction of mechanism of power in our society, in reality. And that's why you see in my picture so many confrontations with the contact eyes, because it's all the time that creates this form of tension between male and the society, male and man from the suburban, male with the police. There is all this kind of construction. You have to build your how you say, your armor. I don't know how the word. You have to do that. You know, it's like. But even in the same time, there is something wrong inside, and you have to try to question this, because it's only a reproduction of how the society see men, and that's why I think I was like questioning. In the beginning, I don't really know that I was making this because I just want to show my friends, show people I grew up with, and it was like the form of segregation of the guys from the suburb living in the HLM. But the sound piece, I was very interested by the sound, the cry of the guys in Marseille. Supposed to be the ghetto. I don't know the name in English. The ghetto in Marseille. They sit just an entrance of the suburb, of the place of the suburb, and if the police come, they start to cry, aha, and. I think I decided to make the sound piece because the sound was so intense and represents something. I think I work just with maybe the people, what the people say they're marginalized, but for me they are in the society, they are not outside. It's just because they're living in the suburb, and maybe, or they get less money, you know. But I don't know. It's just because it's around me. I grew up in the suburb. I think I am attached to that. That's why I'm trying to understand what's happened, and all this mechanism of power on the people on the suburb. I'm just interested about that and try to understand and reveal some question on this type of situation. In out there we see the Fletcherty black community in northwest Philly. We see a context. I create a context with the riders, like it was a collaboration with artists from Philadelphia and riders, and the idea was to create a day, like a big party in this place, and to create some costume and make a contest with one winner. That's what the base of the idea. And after, right now, the video, it's more. It's about this contest, but in the same time, it's the relationship between riders and artists try to work together.
See, I have all these CDs here. What we're going to do is this. All around the college. See what I'm saying? You're going to look pretty cool. Look. You see? All around the horse.
We grew up with so many images of the cowboy. And the cowboy was to be, in our imaginary and unconsciously, it's white. But in reality, the cowboy is not like just a white man. There is so many people from the black community have horses, a very traditional, and the Mexican and the Indian, and even in Algeria you can see some fantasia in Morocco. There are so many riders. And we grew up with this idea of this white cowboy. And unconsciously that's create something in our mind. And for me it was very important to deconstruct that. I was trying to deconstruct, maybe it's too much to say that, but it was like I really want to make this image visible in this whole subculture. We call that subculture, but for me it's my culture. Like to make that visible in the art space. I can explain to you the piece behind me called Brutal Family Roots. I was in Liverpool and I decided to make this garden, and I invite so many people from the community to come and to bring the plant where they come from. And some of them, I take some aloe vera, some of the coffee plant, and me, I was like, oh, definitely I want to bring something from Algeria. I remember about this plant, the mimosa. And I started my research about this plant. And when I started the research, I discovered it was not originally from Mediterranean. Mediterranean is from Australia. In 2020, I was invited by the Biennale of Sydney to come in Australia. And for me, it does make totally sense to work around this plant. Because there is so many things around this plant. For example, the very interesting thing, she get the memory of the flowers. And I invite two other artists called Chronic, MC Chronic, he's an Aboriginal rapper, and Nardine, she's an Egyptian Australian artist. And I invite them to write a poem about the acacia, but I asked them to be the acacia.
For every segment of soil my roots wrap around, they have a different name for me. Dayman bigayaro esmi, but it never changes. I always grow. And a henna agayar potential evergreen to turn seed to stem to blooming structure. Once I was bound to the land.
For me, there is like this idea of to reverse the idea of to be a subject and to be an object. And we misconsider the plant, I think so, in our society. And the idea was like to make like a voice to give a voice to the plant. And for this installation, what I made, I create like this. We build like a small Arduino, and with this small Arduino, we translate the frequencies, I mean the electricity of the plant, to the sound. That means what we are listening, it's alive. Even we design the sound, it's alive of the plant. There is like two or three main thematic in this work. There is like, for sure, colonization, the story of colonization. But it's a story of globalization too. I mean, we are living in a global world. Has become the origin of this global world is come from the colonization. And I think that this piece talks about that too, and how we reappropriate things from the past to our things, but they have their own another origin, and sometimes we don't know. I'm sure the subject I'm working with is more, you can say, more contextualized in the society for sure. But I don't define myself, I didn't define the art we do and my engagement to be political on art. Because if I put that, if I put as a label, I think we lost more sense of the work.